Dennis the Menace Bermudez here. Joe Rogan. Watch out, this kid is the real deal.
I had the privilege to interview Dennis the Menace Bermudez, who is the top 5 UFC fighter in the world. The world takes notice when you reach the top, but it's the journey that took you there, which is the most inspiring. This is Dennis's journey.
You doing this episode with me, Dennis. There are so many things that intrigue me about UFC. There's no other business in the world that you could smack people's faces in for 15 to 25 minutes and turn around and hug each other after. Tell the audience how your journey started and how you got onto the Ultimate Fighter and got into the UFC.
Fighting is one of those things that I'm actually one of the most non-confrontational people you'll ever meet. I'm very like, whoa, easy, you know, not to do this. But I loved wrestling, I loved competing, and wrestling is a huge component to MMA, right? So the ability to take the fight from standing to the ground can be a game changer, you know? So whenever I was fighting and someone punched me in the face hard, I'd be like, all right, we're not doing this anymore. Take him down.
On the flip side of that, however, it's actually easier to catch a guy who has long arms and legs in submission attempts. Especially defensively. Look at that, drops under. Beautiful takedown by Bermudez.
Right into side control.
Striking getting better, especially defensively. Under, beautiful takedown by Bermudez.
Right into side control.
The younger brothers, one of his best friends that had been beating up for years, got into MMA, and he had been training for about like 8 months, you know, and he had a couple fights, and I was in town, and he goes, Dennis, come down and work out. We'll work in wrestling. I'm like, okay, you know. And then having a little MMA background yourself, like, you know how it is. You learn a move, you start messing around, next thing you know, you're going live, right? So it went from wrestling, it turned into submission wrestling, and I was just making stuff out. So I like tapped him out a couple times, and his coach was like, dude, how old are you? I said, I'm 22 years old. So you gotta do this. I was like, oh, I don't know about the whole fight, you know, actual fist fighting, because I don't do that. I've never done that, you know. It's like, trust me, dude, you would be fine. I'm like, I don't know, you know. So then that night, I was at dinner with my buddy who was another coach, and he goes, there's a fight at the end of the month. You should do it. I'm like, hang on, what are we talking about here? You want me to fight at the end of the month, and I trained one time. It's like, yeah, dude, you'll be fine. I'm like, this doesn't sound, that's like insane, right? And then my brother and his wife are like, yeah, you should do it, Dennis. I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, he said you'll be fine. So I'm like, all right. So I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. So then I went to a gentleman called Steve Blackman. He was a WWF guy back in the day. He used to travel the world with Ken Shamrock doing WWF, and those guys would train on the side. So when he retired from the WWF, he opened up his own MMA gym, and it was the best one that I knew of in Pennsylvania. So I drove over there. I walked in. I said, hey, how you doing, Steve? I'm Dennis. Where's your best guys? He goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, where are your best guys? I've got a fight in 4 weeks, and I need to see where I'm at. He's like, all right, they're in the back. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went back there. Hey, I'm Dennis. We started rocking and rolling. Those guys submitted me a few times, and then I kept coming every day, and then after 2 weeks, nobody could submit me. And I told them I had a fight. They're like, oh man, you're gonna be fine. You're a crush. I'm like, really? When I think about fist fighting, I see the UFC, right? So I'm thinking that's what it's gonna be when I go to this amateur fight, and I'm training for this fight. Another organization has another fight, and the dude's like, it's next month. You want to do that? And I was like, you think I'll do good? It's like, yeah, dude, you'll crush him. I'm like, all right. So I've never fought one time, and I've got 2 fights booked, and we're inside a month. So I go to Virginia because Virginia amateurs fight under pro rules. So I paid to fight for pro rules. which sounds insane. Now that I think about it, right? You couldn't pay me less than, I need like $200,000 to fight now, you know what I'm saying? So, but I was paying to fight because I needed to see where I was at, right? So, drive down to Virginia, weigh in, fight. I ended up knocking that guy in the first round. I'm like, I am pretty good at this.
Boy, I wanted to be a rapper. Wanted to be on the radio and snapping pictures after. And so I grabbed my pen and pad and scribbled chitter chatter. It started off whack, but in the words of a 10-year-old, my shit was getting fatter. I hit the studio at 16, stupid ill, not knowing how the booth would feel. What's ADATs and 2-inch reels? How you ad-lib? What's a punch? I ain't about.
I was on like cloud 9. Then I had another fight lined up, and I kept training. I beat that guy. And then I started seeing the guys I was training with going pro. I'm like, but I beat you. How are you going pro? And then, so I started banging out fights. So with wrestling, right, it was like, it's a grind. Every weekend, you're competing at least twice a week, if not a tournament, which is like, can be 8 matches, right? And with fighting, once I found out I could get paid, I was like, what? All right. So I bang out these. So within 4 months, I went pro. And then I had my first pro fight in Harrisburg, which was the gym I trained at. And I remember going out there and fighting the guy, and I couldn't take him down. I was like, oh, this isn't good. I shot, he just took me and threw me into the cage. I was like, this is going to be a long night. Took a deep breath, kept working, and then I hit him with like a stiff jab, and he got like a little stank leg, and I was like, and I just poured it on him, and I ended up TKOing him.
I'm trying to be the sickest nigga dead or alive. And if I happen to fall short, it's been one hell of a ride. Chronic 1 and 2. Looking up at the sky at the sun. Up until the day the sun is you. You're listening to hip-hop. You and J House, Wayne House, Nas House.
KOing him. But I remember that first time being like, I don't know, I'm not used to this. I always win. This is the first time that what I want to do isn't working out. So I fought for $400 to fight, $400 to win. So I had $800. I was making $125 a week working at UPS, the preload shift. So I'd get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, drive 45 minutes to Harrisburg, work from 4 to 8 p.m. And then after that, I had gotten good in with Steve. At first, I would drive all the way back to Millersburg, which is 45 minutes, hang out there till 6-ish, drive back to Harrisburg, train, come back, and I would be on this like high horse. You ever like crush somebody and you're like feeling really good about yourself? Yeah?
I mean, when I was
or just even soccer. Like you're playing soccer and you scored 9 goals. Imagine going home and going to sleep. You're not doing it. So I'd drive home. I'm like, yeah. And then it'd be like, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep till midnight. Like I'd be up at 4 o'clock the next morning to do it again. Right? This is what so I used to, so then I got in good with Steve Blackman, and I would work till 8 p.m. and then I would go to his house. Well, then him and I would go lift weights. He paid for my gym membership at the time because I didn't have any money. I had $125. I had like enough money to get pretty much to and from work and gas. And I was like, I didn't drink because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't like party. I would eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because that's all. To be honest with you, there was this gas station called Sheetz, and they had a 2-for-1 donuts. Two donuts for $1. So I'd do that like almost every morning to get like my calorie intake for the day for $1. And donuts are kind of filling, so that's what I would do every day. 2 donuts. And That would take me, and then I would lift with Steve. So back to, right? 2 donuts on the way to work. Work from 4 to 8 p.m. or a.m. Sorry, a.m. I'd lift with Steve Blackman till about 10 a.m. Then I'd go back to his place, take a nap for about 4 hours, get up, train for 2 hours, and then I'd drive back home. So I slept in 4-hour increments. I'd like 4 hours at night, 4 hours during the middle of the day.
I wanna be the best who ever did it. Don't know if that goal's feasible or it isn't. But if it is, then God, if you're listening, please grant me the strength to crush all competition. You can't blame me for dreaming, I'm a dreamer. And if I'm coming off brash, please forgive me. What? That's all I want.
I just wanna be the illest MC.
That's all I want.
At the same time, being as real as can be. Mayhem, sickness, murder, horror. These are the kind of words that describe my aura. G-rap, Razzcast, corrupt, red man. I am cut from that cloth. Write a rhyme about me, you a dead man. Cool J, I'm bad video. Learn the whole routine and perform it for my father's friends.
My original goal with fighting, now that I'm starting to make money, was like, if I could just pay off my college loans, that would be pretty cool. One thing with fighting, so a lot of guys come up to me now like, oh, I want to be a fighter, I'm in the UFC. I'm like, easy, big dog. That was never my intention to fight in the UFC. It was just kind of happened. Fighting in general, like I said, I just worked out with a buddy one time wrestling, and now I'm in an MMA fight, right? And then I realized I was really good at this. I actually never liked it. Do you like getting punched in the face?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that like, yeah, more of that, There's some people that like really hurting people.
No,
I just like competing, right? So my ability to train these different martial arts and apply them to win. The goal was to just make enough money to pay off my college loans, and then now I kept fighting. So I fought 9 times my first year of MMA, which is kind of unheard. The most fights ever in the UFC for one guy in 1 year, I think, is 5 times. So I fought 9 times, and the mindset behind that was, so every time you fought and won, the next time you fought, you made like $100 more per fight. So for me, it was, let me just keep grinding. I'll keep fighting until I'm making $1 million per fight, right? If I just keep banging these out, It came to me from wrestling. The more you train, the harder you work, the better you're going to do in these tournaments. He's like 10 or 12 years older than me, and he's like a freak of nature. Like, he had like the school record for running. Each family member had these like freakish abilities to like do one-arm pull-ups. Have you ever tried a one-arm pull-up?
no.
Just getting over your shoulders like impossible. All the way out. Come on, not grabbing the wrist, not starting here. Here, come up and over the shoulder and do it multiple times. I was like, no, not me, but these are the people I was around growing up. And they had a trampoline, and they watched WWF, so every day they would like throw me off the trampoline, do these crazy moves to me, and every day I would run home, cry, but every day I came back. Yeah. And their ability to hurt me, like, they would do wild things. Not that they were intentionally trying to make me cry. They were just funny and just whatever. And like, he could take it. And I started building this like resilience of being able to take pain and this crazy stuff. And I really looked up to these guys because they didn't drink, they didn't do drugs, they were muscular, they were fit, they're like superheroes. So I always wanted to be like them. So anything that they had done, or they'd be like, yo, you want to do this? Here, try this. Be able to do this, and then you'll be in my level. So I had these like markers in my head, like if I run this 5-mile loop under 45 minutes, that's really good. So I started doing that, and they had me doing all different kinds of stuff, chopping wood, and just, I didn't have a furnace. Yeah. It was for them. It was just like, you want to be badass? Do this. And I would just do it because I wanted to be badass. So when he told me, you could do this, I was like, oh, okay. Going from him. A Joe Schmo, you could do. I'm like, you don't know anything. Yeah. But coming from someone who I've always looked up to, and for him, and he's just known me since I was born, so he knows, like, he wasn't kidding when he said I could do it. He went to all my tournaments, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah. Dude. Yeah. Yeah. And I had like a chip on my shoulder, right? So I wrestled in high school. I made these sacrifices in high school. I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and run to the high school. It didn't matter if I'm from upstate New York, so it snowed a lot. So I'd put on snow boots, snow pants, snow jacket, and run to the high school. When I got there, then I'd work out or drill or something like that before school started. Then school would happen, and after school, I'd wrestling practice. After wrestling practice, I would drive an hour to Albany and do another wrestling practice and drive an hour back. I just wanted to be really, really good, right? So with all the sacrifice I put in, I never accomplished any of my goals of becoming a state champion. I didn't even make the state tournament, right? I was a 2-time section runner-up, which when I went to high school, you had to win the section tournament to go to states. So I was a 2-time section runner-up, which, like, bro, I remember my senior year, I was the #1 seed, and I lost to a guy I should have crushed. I was going to walk home to Saugerties from Monroe Woodbury. It's about a 45-minute drive. It was snowing. I had just my singlet. I was so upset and just, like, crushed. And my dad came running out of the door. He's like, Dennis! I'm like, fuck. I was just like, fuck him. I wanted the pain of, just because I was so defeated on that loss. Like, just, my whole world, like, just crashed. And I was like I wanted to, like, almost, like, die. Like, I wanted, like, I'm just going to walk home. I didn't know how to get home from here, but I didn't give a shit. And my dad had this way of saying our name where you're like, I might get fucked up right now.
Yep, that's the same.
Yeah, like the God, Dennis. I was like, fuck. I mean, so like, what? It's like, get over here. I'm like, I didn't really want to walk home, right? So I came back and they gave me my second place medal. I wanted to fucking throw it right in the garbage, right? Because I didn't put in work for second place. I put in work for not even this tournament. The next tournament, be first place in the next tournament, you know? And so then I had this, so then I was going to wrestle in college, right? I got one offer from a D3 school in Maine. I was like, this isn't Division I, you know? So I walked on and I earned a scholarship and I beat guys in the top 10 and I was ranked 22nd in the nation, but the goal was to become a national champion or All-American. That was, you know, I didn't even make it to nationals. I beat guys that were All-Americans. I beat guys that went to nationals, but I didn't. So now I'm done with college, and I've got this, like, incomplete, like, I didn't do anything I wanted to, you know, all the goals I've set I haven't accomplished any of them yet, you know. So when fighting kind of fell in my lap, I was like, this is like another place that I can compete and set goals for myself and kind of knock them down, you know. And then I found out I could make money doing it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then it started kind of becoming clear that I was good enough to potentially make a career of it. I was like, all right. So I had moved to Long Island. At this time, I was 7-1, right? So I was 6-0, and I fought my first pay-per-view event. And all this stuff was installed in me, like, kind of through wrestling and hard work and what I want, right? So I had applied for the Ultimate Fighter show at 155. And this was before I moved to Long Island. So how that process works, it was in North Carolina. My buddy Tyrone, who said, like, you could do this now, he's been in my corner for all these fights, right? We went to, he drove me down to North Carolina. I did, there's 3 parts. You have to do like some random guy in front of Dana White and all these people. You roll and try to submit them. That's it. And then go back to the side. If they call your name, you make the next round. But there's 3,000 people there.
Young kids, right?
Yes.
So how do they feel like watching their dad on the TV when you were fighting in the UFC?
They don't. No, my kids are the worst fans I have. No, I'm kidding. No, it's funny, my little guy, Bryson, I remember one time we had a birthday party for him. He's like, Dad, next year when we have a birthday party, you think you bring autographs? There was an age he picked up that like being in the UFC is like cool, right? But I'll put up like, yeah, you want to watch some of your old man's fights? No, not really. I'm like, then I forget something like, oh, I want to fight. I'm like, all right, let's want to put some fights on? I put a fight on. We're like killing each other just to walk away. I'm like, this is, all right, whatever. So I just, okay. They know it's cool, but they don't let me know that they think it's cool.
How like Joe Rogan, he takes the game very seriously as like a very like good commentator. I feel like when I watch like the fights that I looked up about you, I feel like he always like roots for you. He has a thing for you. He roots for you, but he doesn't do it on camera. He does it like not like he does it.
You were one of the ones, Dennis.
Yeah, you are.
Right. Because we've studied.
Yeah.
So we've been watching Joe.
The winner, Dennis Bermudez. That is about as close a fight as you can get. And what a 3rd round you had, man. You had a real tough 1st round. You got hurt bad with that left hook. Tell us what you were thinking coming into that 3rd round.
Coming in the 3rd round, I knew he was tired. Had to push a hard pace and just stay on him. He was belting me, but I was getting hit anyway, so I might as well throw back. And that's what I did.
It was an incredible, incredible fight. It was an honor to call. Thank you very much. Good luck to you in the future, Dennis Bermudez, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot of your fights were borderline insane. Was the Matt Grice fight the craziest of your career?
Season 14 of The Ultimate Fighter. Dennis Bermudez plans to continue his winning ways by taking out Matt Grice.
Bermudez, good up, yeah,
Look at this! Trying to finish this fight. Bermudez comes out storming here in the 3rd.
Bermudez has him hurt, Mike.
And Grice is hanging ground and pound.
That's one fight that I definitely hang my hat on. I think a lot of people say if you've never watched one MMA fight and you want someone to like it,
he's got to maintain his top position. This is his big opportunity. He can't
catch him with the left. Bermudez likes the uppercut.
I'll tell you what, man, Bermudez is an animal. Oh, he's doing everything he can to win this fight.
Man, the uppercuts are working so well. And again.
Oh, he's hurt.
Now to the body. Uppercut again. Grice trying to remain standing.
Nice knee to the body.
Now Grice is hurt big time.
Oh, look at that. Herb Dean almost stopped it there. Almost.
And another one.
Everybody wants to know this. Max Holloway is a big warrior in the UFC fighting.
Yes.
He takes his job pretty seriously.
Right.
How does it feel like getting in the ring with that guy?
Can he get this one?
Wow, he got that one by sheer force.
Can he get this one? Wow, he got that one by sheer force.
Thank you so much, Dennis. It was an honor listening to your journey on how you lived your American dream.